Bucky Irving is out to prove to the world that he is a top 5 running back. Bucky talking about how the past doesn't matter. No one cares about last year. Everybody cares about what you're doing now. The dude's attitude's on point. His talent is out of this world. And he is a top 5 running back in 2025. Whether you like it or not, whether you doubted him or not, whether you put it out there and your receipt sitting out there dangling in the wind and you're embarrassed, your mom's embarrassed because you talked ill about Bucky Irving and you're doubling down like a double down Donnie. Well, get ready because we're all taking Bucky baths on this channel all year long.
Get buckied. Buckied.
The Fantasy Football Show. Bucky, a little more Rashee Rice news, a little more Kelsey news, some Darnold news, and Q&A, phone calls. That show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Some people doubt the man, and it's weird. It's uncomfortable. You know when you have secondhand embarrassment? Where somebody else does something so embarrassing, you're not even involved, but you're witnessing it, and you feel embarrassed for yourself. You know what I feel embarrassed of? When people don't have Bucky in their top 5. How do you not have him in your top 5? At least, okay, let's dial it back and say, well, but what about Henry? And what about Barkley? And what about all these guys? How do you fit them in, Smitty? Then at least give them the top 5 to 7 RB respect. Can we at least agree upon that? Can you give them the range of 5 to 7? If you're a double down Donnie, a worried William, a petrified Peter, can you at least meet us halfway so we don't have to make you take daily laps on this channel?
Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back now. Take a big lap. Take one and you don't come back.
Get buckied. Buckied. Buckied.
Let's meet halfway. Meet me halfway. 5 to 7. And then we won't make you take laps, but include the 5. Don't say top 7. Say top 5 to 7. Include the range. Bucky's going to go crazy. Bucky's going to have a monster year. Bucky's ADP, if we linger on over to the Underdog Best Ball app and check out the ADP. And by the way, we'll be drafting tonight on Underdog. Promo code Smitty. Make sure you click this link I'm about to drop in the live chat. It's in the description of the video. We'll be drafting tonight, and you better download it and get ready because if you don't do that now, you won't be in. Code Smitty, link gets it done. Links in the live chat. I'll pin it in a second, but it's in the description. Where's Bucky's ADP? Let me tell you something. Let's just take a gander at this ADP data. Neighbors, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Neighbors is number 9. So we can fit 9 monsters on each scroll. Neighbors is 9. Genty 10. Amon-Ra 11. Nico 12. BT 2.1. Henry 2.2. Drake London 2.3. AJ Brown 2.4. Devon Achane 2.5. That's filthy. Achane at 2.5. Bowers is dropping to 2.6. He was once at 2.2, 2.3. So 2.6. Lad McConkey 2.7. JT 2.8. Bucky Irving 2.9. Bucky Irving is 21.4 ADP. That is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for everybody that had a hand in making his ADP 21.4 because I've been taking him at 15, 16, 17, 14. I can't help myself. And every time I'm on the clock in round 2 and I say, Smitty, diversify, young man. Diversify. I get there in round 2 and I'm sitting there and I'm like, but Bucky's there again. And because Bucky is in my really 13 overall, meaning that anywhere in round 2, Bucky's fine. You're not reaching at 2.1 for Bucky. You really aren't. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if his ADP is at 21. Bucky is one of the RBs in round 2 that are gold mines. And you can't pass up on Achane or Bucky if you need an RB. Let's say you go lamb chops, which we love.
Get lamb.
We love CeeDee Lamb. We love CeeDee Lamb. You go lamb chops in 1. You go JJ in 1. You go Jamar Chase in 1. Whatever the case may be, you hit round 2 and Achane and Bucky are staring you in the face. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? The answer better only be draft one of those bad boys. I don't want to hear, I go wide receiver. Why do I go? Well, because you heard it on the other channel. Breaking news over here. We're told that wide receiver is the only way to draft. If you draft wide receiver, you're going to be in such a good position because it's what everybody's doing. Everybody's doing it, so we're going to do it. We're going to brainwash you.
Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back now.
I'm taking Bucky in round 2 like clockwork. I don't care if it's 2.1 or 2.12. He's one of the most beautiful second round drafted players you can find. Achane and Bucky smash every time. And the way he's talking about the 2025 season, the way he's talking up his mindset when he says things like nobody cares about what you did last year. This is what Bucky says. Nobody cares about what you did last year, said Irving, who led all rookies with 1,122 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind?
Let him cook.
I don't even understand what's going on here. The dude just dropped, without even starting games until double-digit weeks, dropped this massive wad and load on the screen that you see here. 11, 22, 8 touchdowns. I mean, come on. And he says this. It's what you can do for me now. But I've always been that guy that pretty much never gets stuck in the past and always is where my feet are. And I work hard every day. That's what he's saying. That's what he's doing. That's how he's living. That's how you're drafting.
Let him cook.
Come on, did it. That's how America does it. That's how America does it. We got 50 gifted memberships. I think it's 50. What is it real quickly? Let me swing back over to the chat. We got, who's dropped 50 gifted memberships by BBQ. Just being a monster in the chat.
Smitty, everybody's pretty. $100+ I don't even know why they're getting.
Appreciate you, BBQ. You are a monster, a legend. Everybody in here knows who BBQ is. BBQ does it live every single day. And he gifted so many of you right now. 50 gifted memberships, a gifted membership. Please thank him. Please thank him. How can you thank him? Dropping his emoji. He's got his own emoji. BBQ. Do it live. Last thing I'm going to say here is if Bucky can get this kind of stat line without starting games until double-digit, roughly, weeks. 11, this is what he dropped last year. 11, 2, 2, and 8 tutties. Let me spit some truth at you. Let me spit a reality that might hit home for some of you. Wade Williams, I saw it on another channel, Smitty. I saw it on another... Bucky Irving, the thing that concerns me about Bucky Irving is that I didn't have him last year, so the narrative doesn't fit. We're going to go with JT because everybody told me so. JT's the answer. It's not Bucky. It's not the now. It's the guy that everybody says.
Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back.
Bucky literally could be running back 3. He could be running back 5. He could be running back 3. He could be running back 7. That's why the 5 to 7 range fits very nicely. But if this guy can do what he did in really Jahmyr Gibbs' rookie season, week 7 on, remember Jahmyr Gibbs, week 7, boom. That's when he started going on fire. And if I go back to Jahmyr Gibbs' rookie year presentation, when we discuss what he did, this is his rookie season. And you see Monty and Gibbs lined up on Jahmyr Gibbs' rookie year. Week 1. Smitty, you're so dumb. 36. Look, I look like a buffoon coming out of week 1. You guys all spent your 2nd and 3rd round draft capital on Jahmyr Gibbs as a rookie. And I'm sitting here, feeling like my pants are down. And then in week 2, running back 20. Week 3, we think we're making progress, running back 25. Week 4, maybe we'll get back to progress, running back 25. Doesn't play. People are coming for your boy Smitty. They want him. They're coming for his neck. All right, I'm going to unsubscribe to your channel. Running back 3. Running back 1, doing it live. Gibbs and Bucky had a very similar rookie season when you break it down. They really did. And if I pull up Bucky's game log from 2024, you're gonna be like, damn, even though he was used a lot, he was not a ton, not starter capability type of work, but he was used, a lot. It wasn't like he didn't have production like Gibbs didn't, but it was one of those things where you look at it and you say to yourself, if he had gotten the work he got later in the season, what kind of numbers would he have produced? Would he have been running back number 4 during his rookie season? Because I'll tell you, going from the bottom, and you see he has 9 carries. Let me get a little highlight graphic here. So if you go from the bottom and you say, okay, 9 carries, 7 carries, 9 carries, 10 carries, 9 carries, 14. When he got these 14 and 10 carry games, these double-digit carries, which aren't even the crazy starter carries or anything, they're just double-digit. 4.9, 5.8 a pop, touchdown in each of those games. Got 2 receptions in both those games. I mean, this is not starter material until you get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Week 10 and 11, he started to kind of sniff it. It was week 13. It was December. Bucky Irving didn't really get on his horse until December. December 1. 152 on 25 totes, 1 TD. But look at this. TD. Starts getting multiple double-digit carries. 13 carries, 12 carries, 25. Look what happens. Touchdown. Receiving yards, 14, 64, 33. Looking good. Got injured here. Didn't hurt him. He came back the next week, 117. The next week, 16 carries, 68 to touch. Next week, 20 carries, 113. 98 and a touch to finish off the year, 113 that week before. But look at the receiving yards. 64 receiving yards here, 40 here, 54 here, 77. This is a remarkable monster. This name is Bucky Irving. He might be the Chupacabra. Him and Trey Henderson, we don't know which one is the Chupacabra, but it might be. We just know they're coming for everybody in 2025. And then is let me go real quickly, just screenshot this. In the playoffs, he had 17 carries for 77 yards, which was a pretty darn nice line. And then he had the receiving touchdown that people get about. So let's pull up his postseason game against the Washington Commanders, because this is very telling when a team in the playoffs, when things matter, when the whole season's on the line, everything is on the line, you give them 17 totes. So I don't want to hear somebody say, well, they might not give them all the carry. 17 carries in the most important game of the year. 2 targets 2 receptions, and a touchdown receiving in the most important game of the year. 4.5 yards per carry, a long of 19, 77 yards, 17 totes. Going back to the board, if I had to predict on a guy that didn't even get freaking double-digit carries on the consistent till past midseason, didn't get ever anything over 14 carries, and only once did he do that until week 13 or whatever, you're talking about a number here that's got to be 1,300 plus. I would say 1,300 rushing, 8 touchdowns on spotty, sporadic type carries. Maybe this is a 10 to 11 TD on the ground performance this year. 10 to 11 TDs. Receptions. What did he have last year? Let's take a little look. Let's take a little look at what this guy's doing stat-wise in 2024 on sporadic work. Let's throw it on the screen. Let's look at his long. What's his long look like? 40 yards, something like that, I believe. 40-something reception, 40-yard reception. Guy's a playmaker. Look at that. Look at that. Postseason stats are on that middle column, but on this top line here, 11-22, 207 carries, 8 touchdowns, 5.4 a pop, 56 long, 47 for 392, 0 tutties. He'll change that 0 receiving tutties he just did in the postseason. A 42 long, a 56 long, and a 42 long. This could be the number 1 running back in the National Football League in 20-plus yard runs in 2025. In fact, what was he last year? Do we have that on the Bucky board? I think we have a Bucky board here. What do we have on the Bucky board? Yeah, here it is. 20-plus yard runs. He was 8th last year. He was 8th in the NFL in 20-plus yard runs, and he was only ranked 41st out of all the running backs in the National Football League for running back snap share. He was ranked outside of the top 32 running backs in running back snap share, and he still was number 8 in 20-plus yard runs. He was number 3 in the entire NFL in 30-plus yard runs. What is going on here? What are people not seeing? Yards per carry, 4th. Forced missed tackles, one of the very best stats you can find in all of football to translate excellence at the running back position. He was top 5 in the league, getting the 41st rank in running back snap share. He was ranked 41 in the league in snap share, and he was top 5 in forced missed tackles. This stat is a kingmaker. This stat is a kingmaker. This stat is a kingmaker. Yards after contact per attempt, top 5. Kingmaker. Red zone targets, 10th in the league with the 41 rank in snap share. Rushing yards with 41 as his rank in snap share. The 41st running back getting carries. Volume-wise, think of that as a volume stat. You're confused by that number? Volume. 41st in the league in running back volume. He was still 10th in the league in rushing yards. What's that tell you? Does this not scream, holy shit? This guy's going not to the moon. No, not to Mars. Not to Saturn. To Jupiter.
To Jupiter.
Maybe to the Andromeda Galaxy. Maybe we need to create that now. Maybe that's a mid-season thing that we bring to the table, but I feel bad for anybody that's still doubting. If you're watching right now and you haven't been convinced to go get Bucky Irving at 2.1 to 2.12, meaning that as long as he's your second drafted player, don't tell anybody that I would take him higher. Shh. Don't tell anybody. He is a perfect second drafted player in any scenario, and he's kind of a safety mechanism, because if we go back to the ADP data and I show you this, where was it, 21.4, you're talking about really any pick inside round 2. So if you get the last the last pick, the 12th pick, you can take Bucky with your 13 overall. You get the 11 pick, you can take Bucky with your 14 overall. You get the 10 pick, you can take Bucky. You get the 9. You see what I'm saying? All the way down to probably, if you had a draft slot of 1, 2, 3, you're probably not going to get Bucky. If you got the 4th pick, you might get Bucky. But all the other draft slots, so let's say, picks 1 through 4. Let's say that if you get a pick 1 through 4, meaning one of these top spots, you're going to get a pick that might not land you Bucky. But anything other than a top 4 pick, so if you're in the middle of round 1, you'll get Bucky. You're at the bottom of round 1, you obviously can get Bucky. Bucky is your savior for literally 2/3 of the entire second round. Pick 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and then you're getting close. 21, 22, 23, 24. You have 4 picks left where you might not get him. The rest of the entire second round is Bucky territory, as would be Achan. And this team right here is just straight up glory. Look at it. Look at it. If we circle on to the other players in the news, because Bucky's gotten a 21 minute and 17 second segment here, and he deserves every bit of it. He deserves every bit.
Mashed potatoes!
Every bit of it. Every bit.
Yeah, buddy.
Get buckied. Buckied.
Buckied.
Oh, Bucky.
Yeah.
Bucky, appreciate you. Bucky, you are the man, the myth, the legend. The only thing with stock going up higher than Bucky Irving is BBQ stock, probably. BBQ stock is on the rise. Like a missile. Straight up into the sky. Let's go on over to this man, Rashee Rice, this news. We talked about it in the past couple of weeks, and he has a second round ADP now. He climbed all the way. Let's go back to the ADP. He climbed all the way above Bucky. Or no, wait, he's right below him, one spot below him. So Bucky's at 21, Rashee Rice is at 23. But we've been seeing Rice go a lot earlier than 23, so the ADP will probably adjust tonight or tomorrow on Underdog, because we've been seeing him go like clockwork at 21 and 22. So his ADP probably will climb above Bucky. You know what that means? If Rice climbs up ahead of Bucky, then Bucky moves down a spot, and I'll take that.
You've just been Smitty approved.
I got super chats in here. Let's go to the super chats real quickly, and then we'll come back to the Rashee Rice situation. But essentially what I wanted to talk about with Rashee Rice, and we'll get back to it, is this 23 overall ADP. Is it worth it? And is the news something that we, obviously get excited about? You can see it right there. We'll talk about it in a second. Let's go to the super chats real quickly, and then we'll attack the rest of the news. BBQ says Bucky is at running back 1, 3 down skill set round 2. Appreciate you, BBQ. BBQ spitting straight facts. Bucky is ascending talent, role expanded. White is fading. Bucks did nothing to fix defense. Will be round 1 pick next year, but crazy value in 2025. Yes, sir. Bucky is he's so good. He's so good. Do I keep Neighbors as my keeper? I got in the 4th round, or JD5 I got at the 9th round. You keep Neighbors because quarterbacks go later, bro. Proven by you getting JD5. I assume this is not a super flex because JD5 would have been taken in a much higher round. If it was super flex, just to put it out there, obviously you keep the quarterback. That would be, you'd win the league off that value. But you can't keep a quarterback over Neighbors in round 4. Neighbors as round 1 ADP. JD5's got round 3 or 4 ADP. So think about what you're doing. Like, it's a concept of, with Neighbors, you get a player written into round 4, but now you can go shopping and grab a QB like Mahomes in 6 or 7, or Knicks in 7 or 8 or 9, and you'll be fine. But you wouldn't have Neighbors if you had JD5. So it's an easy call. Also, in another league, should I keep Neighbors at the 4th or Bowers in the 9th? This is a tougher call because Bowers is a second rounder and that 9th value is crazy. What I would probably say is this. I think I would lean Bowers because same concept, right? Is Neighbors at 4 better than Bowers and that 4th round player? So let's say you could get Harvey or Hendy or Hunter, Travis Hunter, one of the Triple H and Associates. One of these guys.
In a jam, call HHH and Associates.
Triple H and Associates, locations on Earth and Jupiter.
If you could get even Hampton, the junior associate, if you could get any one of those guys, Bowers and one of those guys crushes just Neighbors. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at what you're going to be left with. So that's an easy call, my boy. Easy call. Even though I love Neighbors, it's great value. Bowers is the easiest call you could have with that 4th round value that you get. Dynasty PPR 1 QB. Should I trade Breeze Sampson, a 26 first for DK Metcalf, Harvey, and Caleb Johnson? Breeze Sampson, 26 first for take DK, Harvey, and Caleb Johnson. That's easy, bro. Easy smash. Love that. Don't listen to anybody that says that that Harvey's like, he's too old and it's not good value. Back to Rice. We talked about Rice yesterday. Rice's ADP has climbed to this crazy, but still worth it, kind of. 23 overall value in best ball, where wide receiver saturation is different. If you go into a grandma league, your work league, your Aunt Edna is running a league, the nursing home league, any grandma league that you're in, those leagues he's going in the 3rd round. He probably does not climb into round 2, but in best ball, underdog promo code Smitty. Again, if you want to draft with us tonight, make sure you hit this link and sign up now. Sign up now. It's kind of like, you get what you pay for in best ball because you're stacking, you're doing things that make Rice worthy of that, no pun intended with the worthy comment. Rice is worth that's 2-3 turn pick. And really what it comes down to is if you say something like, hey, I'm going to draft Rice at 26 overall, right? But you see a player like let's say Garrett Wilson or MHJ or whatever, even Chase Brown, that you do like as 2nd round material, but you're getting them around 3. Then at the end of the day, if I got Garrett Wilson or Trey McBride, let's say Trey McBride falls. You take Trey McBride here, you take Rice here. If you flip it, I could easily argue Rice is worth the 3rd round pick. Trey McBride's a great 2nd round pick. And then it doesn't matter. So sometimes you got to reach in best ball to get that guy. And then the player in round 3 is such a value, you could flip it in your mind, you'd be fine. So don't worry about it. But the thing is, Andy Reid said this, that the wide receiver is his knee injury, obviously. The PLC, which is related to the LCL, and that whole mechanism there in that knee, that when the injury occurred, there was a lot of different little things that happened, hamstring related. All of it's fine. It's all exterior knee injury stuff. So it's not like an ACL tear where they had to go in and drill holes and cause swelling and damage to the interior of the knee. And it takes a lot of time for the graft to hold, 5-6 months for that new ACL to hold. That's not what happened here. This is an LCL, PLC injury on the outside of the knee. And he's fine. He's already 100%. He'll be a full participant at Chiefs training camp. And he's dragging sleds. He's moving all around the field. He looks phenomenal. There's no concern whatsoever. That's why his value's been climbing like a mad dog in ADP data. He's 100% ready to go. We're here for it. We called him as a top 5 wide receiver last year. He started off on fire. We looked right. People were getting us coffee. And then he got injured. And it was a sad day. But it's time for Rice to cook and prove our 2024 predictions correct in 2025. Go do your thing, Rice. Do your thing. And he ain't getting suspended this year, most likely, according to all the reports that I can get my hands on and the knowledge that we bring to the table with all that stuff, because we cover news like nobody. We dig into it like nobody. Rice probably isn't looking at any sort of suspension this year. It's not even a suspension in sight. It'll be 2026 if it even happens. Go cook.
Let him cook.
So, Rice projections, I don't know, 1,300, let's keep the same number, 1,314 total TDs, might be a couple running in there. 100 plus receptions. I don't even know where to begin on this. This feels like light work. Mahomes is going to the moon. He's going to the moon. Just straight moonshot is where this man's going. Straight moonshot. And do we have him on?
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
I mean, is he on any of these boards?
And the Moon Men.
I mean, he's definitely
The Saturn
returning.
Men.
One small step for man.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
Well, got to put him on this board. I mean, he
Boats
never really
dropping
left.
and spinning aimlessly in
Somehow I
space.
knocked him off somewhere. But yeah, I mean, we'll put him on here if he was on. I don't think he might have been on a Saturn board. I forget where when I moved things around, I forgot to put him back on. I remember we talked about this like 2 weeks ago, and I still hadn't fixed it. Rice going to the freaking not moon, Mars, and you know we this is a guy that we pegged as a top 5 guy last year, and I think he's going to prove us so proud and correct this year. So mother freaking monster. And on the KC Chief topic and Mahomes going to the moon. Mahomes' ADP in best ball is around 6, 7, 8. It's really around 7 and 8 now in best ball. You know, you look at this thing and Travis Kelce snap counts will be similar to last year, but will monitor Kelce's playing time as training camp and the season progresses and change the plan if necessary. So basically what Reed's saying is he's getting older. You know, things are going to be not snap count necessarily, but it's going to be, let's play it smart. You know, let's not put him in weird positions. Let's maybe let Gray take a little bit more work, and that will keep him more efficient. There's times where Travis Kelce's on the field for a while, not even getting the ball, or he gets the ball in these weird situations, doesn't even have a chance to get a long play, a big play. He could literally be living in the Chiefs will be in the red zone, I would say at least a third more than normal. They'll be living in the red zone. And so he could literally come on and off the field in between the 20s a little more than people would want initially, but it won't matter because he'll be near the red zone. The team will be near the red zone, and he could easily have 10 touchdowns and 850 yards and finish his tight end 5. Again, he was tight end 5 last year in most scoring formats. Dropping 20 LBs will probably keep him healthy. He'll be a little bit sleeker. This guy's a problem near the end zone in the red zone. So I still think he's a fantastic cuff to Mahomes. He's got later round ADP value than Mahomes. Mahomes goes in 7-8 in best ball underdog. Promo code Smitty. Make sure you hit that link. Let me pin the link in the live chat right now. I'll pin said link right now in the live chat. There it is. Pinned it. Make sure you jump into the draft tonight. And we see Mahomes go 7-8. We see Kelce go 8-9. So it's one of the better cuffing situations. You grab him at the 2-3 turn, and you can build a sweet team. And we did last night, a sweet team around that situation. It was a great looking team last night. I'll try and pull up a graphic of it. But Kelce, you know, snap count, don't be concerned about that. If anything, the one reason I brought this up and why I even wanted to talk about it is that Kelce's going to be talked about as a player that might be tailing off, right? He's washed. This news doesn't help his value, or it helps us, but it doesn't help create a narrative that he's going to be one more year top 5. This is a narrative that helps make him go a little bit further down the ADP boards, which is amazing for those of us that understand what's going on with this situation. So Kelce to the moon. There's going to be so many people that don't like this situation. And that's great. That's great. Sam Darnold, now that the Seahawk, now he's a Seahawk. He's well aware that he needs to bounce back from 2024. He's living in Jalen Milroe's shadow. It's a matter of time before Jalen Milroe, the fan base, calls for it, and he crumbles to the pressure. He already sees ghosts. He had such a good year and still crumbled at the end of it. It's just a matter of time before Darnold loses the job in 2025, in my opinion, to the much more talented Milroe. Rice is going to be so awesome. And then real quickly addressing the Shedeur Sanders situation. Look, there was a report from Schefter and a lot of other people that he had another speeding ticket a week or two prior. It wasn't to the degree that this one was, but it was a speeding ticket. And the whole world's going crazy on this. And and it came out that it wasn't a 50-mile-an-hour zone on the 101-mile-per-hour situation. It was 60. So it was an interstate. And let's even ask Kruger the question here. Hold on. Hey, Kruger, Shedeur Sanders in Jacksonville was pulled over going 101 miles per hour, and the speed zone was 60. Where would that put him? Where did he get the ticket? Like what? It was an interstate, right?
So it turns out Shedeur Sanders was actually pulled over on Interstate 71 in Strongsville, Ohio, not in Florida. He was going 101 in a 60-mile-per-hour zone, so definitely an interstate.
Pretty wild indeed. But the thing is, like, it wasn't like he was in a residential zone. It wasn't like he was drinking. I put this in a X post, and I said, and this is the truth. This is all we need to go. The people that are gonna be hating on him already had a little of that concern or hatred going in here. And so I posted this and I said, you either hated Shedeur already and pretend that this is a big deal, or you like the kid and don't care. It's pretty simple. There's two sides of this. I admit the bias probably, even though I feel I'm the most unbiased person when it comes to this stuff because of what I do, the nature of what I do, the adjust and adapt mentality. I'll jump off this or I'll jump on that. No matter what, it's not flip-flopping, it's adjusting and adapting, and that's my job. My job is to make sure that I get you guys in a changed direction as quickly as I can. We pumped up Kenneth Walker more than any player that we probably ever pumped up in an offseason. The year he came out, and 2 years ago, and had that, was it 2 years ago or was it last year? 2 years ago, and he had the most touchdowns rushing in the National Football League in the first month of football. The first 4 or 5 games, the guy was electric, but he didn't have the production. It was just touchdowns and very efficient play. And even though we were winning, we were smashing the hell out of that prediction. Kenneth Walker, we said would be a monster. He was number 1 in the league through a month of football in touchdowns. What did I do? I came out and said, guys, trade him. Trade him. I'm telling you, I try and bring the least amount of bias to the situation as I can. And you can either say that this is his demise or, not. I really don't care. I'm not saying you don't have a conversation with him. We talked about this last night. I'm not saying that there isn't an issue. Like, hey, 2 tickets in a row, the perception probably should be on your best behavior as you're trying to win this job. No doubt about it that he went about this thinking the wrong way. But is this telling of his personality? He was in a 60-mile-an-hour interstate. I've gone, and I can't confirm or deny this is actually official because I want to make sure that it's, I could be wrong in my memory. But I kind of remember being at a 90 to 92 in a 60-65 situation not that long ago in my recent memory. And I remember going, whoa, what am I doing there? I'm just trying to understand how in a 60-mile-an-hour zone or a 65 or a 70, how you can literally be acting as though he is such a bad decision maker in life because he goes fast on open road when there's no cars around at 12 at night, not drinking, not doing anything like that. You either hate him already, just like you hate RJ Harvey, and you think J.K. Dobbins is not really that special, but because it's Harvey, you like to talk about Dobbins being special. That's the same thing here. You either already are hell-bent against RJ Harvey, Shedeur, or you're not. And that's really all there is to this situation. No one's saying it's not small, or it's small. No one's saying it shouldn't be discussed. No one's saying that at all. But if this is making you say, time to move on, or maybe they should cut him, or this is why, this is what everyone was talking about. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Phone lines are open. Dial in. We'll discuss whatever topics you want. But I would love to discuss the situations that we're talking about today. Bucky, Rice, Kelsey, Mahomes, the Chiefs. anything along those lines, anything we talked about, bring it, drop it, call in, do it live. We got some more super chats here real quickly. I'll answer these in order in which they were received. Appreciate you. Alex, appreciate you. Garendo PPR machine this year. BA a sleeper with BA out. Oh, with BA out, sleeper. I thought you were trying to tell me that BA was also a sleeper. And I'm like, dude starting the year on PUP. I don't want anything to do with Ayuk. And not to mention, people are wilding on Ayuk right now. Hearing things like, oh, he could get traded. No one's trading for Brandon Ayuk. No one's trading for Brandon Ayuk. Nobody wants that guy. Are you out of your mind? He's like, nobody's trading for a guy that's coming off an ACL tear that's not going to be ready till mid-season. It's a total head case that played like trash before he injured his ACL. No one's going after him. There's a rumor he's going to go to the Commanders. No, the Commanders shot that down when he was healthy. Why would they go get him now? Are you out of your minds? Garendo, definitely PPR monster. And go watch the Who's the Next Bucky video, because we talk about why that could be Garendo. Swag, appreciate you. Keep 4 auction league PPR. Puka, BT, Brees, Garrett Wilson, McBride, Bucky. This is one of those things where it's like, okay, who are the highest ADP guys? Not because you're an ADP drafter or an auto drafter or a computer drafter, or you go off that, but like this helps determine who you can draft back. And they're all great players, right? So if we're deciding between keepers that you want to keep, what are the ADPs? Usually is the dictation here. So Puka, BT are first rounders. So those guys are kept automatically. Now, Brees, you can draft back in round 3, 4, 5. So why would we consider him? Garrett Wilson, definitely considering him. Bucky, McBride. Garrett Wilson's probably the most likely to be able to be drafted back. And there's wide receivers around his value territory that if he does get drafted by a team right before you, you can still get MHJ. You can still get Travis Hunter. You can still get other guys. So for me, pretty easy to say McBride, positional advantage, and a second-round capable player. Gets drafted in round 2 a lot. Bucky, McBride, BT, Puka, final answer. Easy question to answer, Mike. Not that Garrett Wilson doesn't deserve it, but for the reasons I just said, you just take a gamble on another player. There won't be another McBride. There'll be another Garrett Wilson. Dynasty Superflex, would you trade the 2.1 for either Pacheco or Ramondre, or try and trade CJ in the 2.11 for May? I'd want Knicks instead. Do it for Knicks and I'm in. I'd give up a future first rounder maybe to turn CJ Stroud into Bo Nix. That's how much I love Bo Nix. May I like, but not an extremely extreme amount more than CJ Stroud. So I don't know if this is even, I don't know if I even like going in this direction. I'd probably rather have Stroud than CJ, or rather have May than CJ Stroud. So I guess at the end of the day, if push comes to shove, I do it. But I don't care about the 2.1 for Pacheco. I suppose I'd do that if I was really running back needy. You go get Brashard Smith. I do kind of like that if you're running back needy. If you're not running back needy, you might get a 2.11 player like Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt or something. Dylan Sampson could fall, and you might actually have a better long-term prospect at 2.1. So be careful with that one, but it's not something that I would necessarily balk at if you did the trade, because I do kind of like Pacheco right now. In a league where you start 2 tight ends, what do you think about drafting both Zach Ertz and Ben Sinnott as your second starting tight end? I wouldn't draft him as my second starting tight end, but if you have big, huge benches, bro, and you can, practice squad guys or whatever the hell, then Sinnott is a fine cuff, because if Ertz goes down, Sinnott goes up. But this is one running back. You can't look at this like one tight end, not running back. One tight end. You can't look at this as 2 tight ends. Also, McBride starting. Then yes. Then the answer is yes. Yes. Then I like this move. Assuming you have the bench for it. Thank you for the $5 holler, Kevin. I like it because I do this with Noah Gray. I draft Kelsey and Gray together, and then I draft a starter or somebody equivalent like Ingram or Kyle Pitts, even a capable starter in best ball. And then I have Gray as the cuff to Kelsey, and I only need the 3 of them because they have, if they have different bye weeks, assuming. So yeah, I very much believe in that. But you have to have big rosters or be in best ball. Got an offer, my Lamb, because sometimes you don't even draft a backup tight end in non-best ball, right? It's a totally different thing when it's not optimal scoring. When it's optimal scoring and you have 3 tight ends, you have a strategic advantage of not having to ever make a lineup move And if you have 2 tight ends or 3 of them, that optimal scoring that inserts the highest score for you each time makes it advantageous to have 2 or 3 tight ends. I draft nothing but 3 tight ends, at least 3 quarterbacks, at least 3 tight ends, a 3-6-6-3, pretty much every time in my underdog drafts. Got an offer, my Lamb, for Caleb Johnson, London, and Ridley. Lamb, got an offer, my Lamb, for Caleb Johnson, London, and Ridley. Ridley and Caleb Johnson, while I like both of them, I don't love either one of them. So there's no way I'm trading Lamb away for that. It has to be a Harvey, a Hunter. Even if I'm giving up like something in return, I'm giving up a late first rounder, I assume is late, to make it Hunter. And then I make that swap, London and Lamb. It's different, but not here. Not here, bro. This is not it. This is not it. They're not movers for me. They don't move the needle. There's no way I'm doing that. Thank you, Lewis, for that. Let me head back over. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
So, Bucky, I'd love to hear your guys' projections for Bucky. Drop them in the chat, and I'll throw them on the screen. I'll toss them on the screen. So, Bucky projections, drop them like they're hot in the live chat, and I will drag them over one by one. Thank you to my super chatters. Bucky is, I'm so excited about Bucky. I got him in about, I want to say I play in like 6 or 7 dynasty leagues. I got to cut back on it, but you hate leaving dynasty leagues, so it has to be a very unique way to leave, or I got somebody who wants to take it over, and I'm not even able to check things as frequently as I want to because I'm so busy. But I think I got Bucky in like 4 of the 6 or 4 of the 7 or something like that. So it's I've oversaturated in Bucky shares. I also have Travis Hunter in about half of them. I also I don't have a whole lot of Harvey yet in Dynasty, and I want that. I'm gonna walk the walk any chance I can. And if I'm in another upcoming draft, and I've got a few drafts coming up, a few rookie drafts still haven't happened, and I get an opportunity to draft Harvey, I'm going to probably force it so that I have some diversity. I need some Harvey shares. I don't have as many Harvey shares as I want. I made, or Hendy shares. I'm sorry, I'm saying Harvey. I've got Harvey shares, Hendy shares. I don't have enough Hendy shares. I was on the clock in a draft, and I worded that wrong. I have so many I have Harvey shares, not Hendy shares. And I was on the clock, and I took Hunter instead of taking Hendy. Because I just can't stop drafting Travis Hunter. And in Dynasty, getting that wide receiver, that longevity, that 10 plus years. But I need to draft more Hendy. So correction, I have Harvey shares, not as many as I do Hunter, now that I just drafted him again. But I think I have no Dynasty Hendy shares yet, and I got to change that. But it's hard because some of these dynasty leagues are follower leagues we created over the years, and everyone knows where I stand on all these rookies, so trading for them becomes near impossible. But I can't stop drafting Travis Hunter. I just can't. I can't stop it. Ron Navy, you're live.
Hey, Smitty, what's up? So BBQ said that your show, he asked if your show is becoming the Love Boat because, my fiance is over in the Philippines and she always asks where I'm going when I tell her I'm going to Smitty's show. And so she came in and she made a comment. She said, "I love you, Ron Navy."
Ron Navy getting. We thought maybe Ron had a.
So she's in the chat.
We thought maybe Ron had some fans in there, but Ron Navy, appreciate you, and now she knows you're a legend in here. You've got everybody drop the Ron Navy emoji. Drop the Ron Navy emoji. Show Miss Navy what Ron's been cooking up over the years. So drop the Ron Navy emoji.
Yeah, her name's Melissa Wiley in the chat.
Ron, what can we do for you?
Well, here's my conundrum. I love Bucky. I love Bucky just like you do, and I think, but I have to switch things up because I also love Chase Brown. I love Chase Brown as much as I love Bucky, and they're so close in ADP. that I'm forced. I can't just choose Bucky all the time. I can't just choose Chase. I gotta switch it up because I think they're both very similar valued. They're both similar. I mean, think about it. Chase Brown really didn't have a chance in his rookie year to do what Bucky did, but so last year was basically his first chance at it, and he killed it last year. Chase Brown did, and we all love Chase Brown. So that's the only thing.
Yeah, the thing I would say to that, though, real quickly, let me merge Travis in here. Okay, I did the merge Travis in. The thing I would say to that, though, the rebuttal would be you can own both of them. Like Chase Brown's ADP, and let me go over to the underdog ADP right here and just take a look. Chase Brown's ADP is 28.3, so he's clearly embedded in the third round, clearly embedded. And even in non-best ball,
right?
Even in non-best ball, you're going to be able to get him at least at the top of round number 3. You know, so I think I don't think you have to choose between Bucky and Chase Brown in any scenario. Maybe in non-best ball.
I was looking at a lot of my drafts, and yeah, you're right. I mean, Bucky was going toward the end of round 2, and then Chase Brown was going at the beginning of round 3, and you couldn't, unless you were at that turn or close to that turn position.
Right, but even in that, you're never needing to take Chase Brown in 2. You take him in 2, you're kind of reaching for him to the point where I don't know if I like that. I like him, but you got to package in a little bit of the risk, and the risk in round 3 is very minimal. In round 4, it's non-existent. In round 2, it's present, just because they have mentioned things like dial him back, and they visited with almost more top 30 visit running backs than any other team. They didn't act upon it, but that's, you wonder what they're thinking, you know. But I'm not worried about Chase Brown at all. I'm just saying, let's not force him as a second drafted player when you have no need to. His ADP's almost 30, bro. No, so you don't have to pick. Well, no, but you don't have to pick.
But if
they're not close, because Bucky's in round 2.
And I look at them pretty much the same value. I mean, I think you get better value with Chase Brown than you do Bucky in round 2. You look at Chase Brown's numbers. I mean, he had 7 touchdowns, and he had 4 touchdowns receiving, and he actually had more receptions.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is that you never have to decide between them. You're just going to take Chase Brown in the third round when you're able to take him. You know, like this almost has nothing to do with Bucky, because Bucky's embedded in the second round, just embedded, and Chase Brown's embedded in 3-4. So what I'm saying is I don't think it matters about Bucky. I think Bucky's a second rounder. You take him where you can. If he let's say you have a mid third round pick, you can get Bucky and Chase Brown with both of those picks. If you've got really close bookend picks, you might get Bucky, you might not in that second round, late second round pick. And if not, you're getting Chase Brown for sure. I just don't think they're not necessarily tied together at all. Just because their ADPs are significantly far enough apart that one doesn't necessarily dictate the other. And again, if Bucky were to fall in round 3, and I don't think he's going to anywhere, but if he did fall to round 3,
I don't think
then yeah, maybe you have a little bit more of a case to make here. But I don't think they're near each other. But we'll see. I mean,
they're closer in my draft than
maybe
you'd think. But I mean, within 4 picks of each other. Well, they're within 4 picks of each other. And a lot of drafts.
There's 1, 2, 3. So in between them, Rice, T, Josh Jacobs, McBride, Garrett Wilson, Marv. So there's 6 picks in between them here. So, but anyway, I can't blame you for loving Chase Brown that much. So I love Chase Brown. He's freaking unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. We all love Chase Brown. And we all
Chase
love
Brown.
That's the only point I was making. I'm not.
Yeah, and Chase Brown and Gibbs are very similar for this show. And what we like, you remember Gibbs, draft him, and then people were coming from my neck. Week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm never watching you again. I'm unsubscribing. I drafted this bum Gibbs. He's not even playing. I don't even like him. And then he just went on a tear. Chase Brown was the same thing. We were doing the whole Chase Brown, yelling Chase Brown on the channel constantly. I I did giveaways where whoever yelled Chase Brown. Who won that, by the way? If you're in the chat right now, let me know. We did a yelling Chase Brown in public contest where you'd run out in the air. He was in the airport, and his wife, he's walking, and he's turned the phone. He's like, Chase Brown! And he just kept yelling it everywhere he went, and he won the contest. And then what does Chase Brown do? Come out and lays nothing for weeks. And I look like a buffoon again. And he came right around and exploded. And you're right, he didn't have a chance until later. He's super efficient between the tackles. He can catch the damn football. He's super shifty. And he's an amazing offense. So Chase Brown is 100% a gold mine in 3-4. I just wouldn't put him in 2 because it's like me putting Bucky in 1. Is Bucky Irving a top 5 running back? I say yes. Would I draft him in the top 5? No, because that's the allure. So is Chase Brown second round return on investment capable? Absolutely. But do I take him in the second round? Absolutely not. Because I don't need it. I don't need to do that. In any team, any draft where he gets sniped and I don't get him, I've got plenty of other opportunities to properly take Chase Brown in round 3. You know what I'm saying?
I take either one of those backs over CMC.
That's why my line in the sand for Christian McCaffrey is not even in round 3. It's, people say you're crazy if you wouldn't take McCaffrey in round 3. And I know I'm not getting him there. I'm not a moron. I know he's going in 7, 8, 9 overall territory. But my emphasis of how much I don't like him this year is that if he fell to round 3, I'm not taking CMC over Chase Brown, over Josh Allen, over JD5, over a lot of players that are still win a league capable from that 3rd round draft slot. And even if you get into round number 4, I like Harvey. And you can get Harvey in 5. And I'm not saying I take Harvey where Christian McCaffrey goes. I'm merely saying give me Bowers instead of CMC in round 2. Give me McBride at the top of 3 instead of CMC. Give me JD5 Josh Allen in 3 or top of 4 instead of Christian McCaffrey. Give me Travis Hunter at late 4 instead of Christian McCaffrey. And then instead of Christian McCaffrey, I just go get RJ Harvey in round 5 or 6. And I just got a player that's going to outperform Christian McCaffrey. And I got to spend all that other early draft capital on somebody else and got RJ Harvey later. But, could I be wrong on CMC? Certainly. But were we wrong on him last year? No. And he came off probably the most hyped season he's ever had, coming out of that monster 2023 San Francisco campaign. The best running back by far in football. And it was do not draft CMC, and we crushed that. It was Mason and Garendo and Mason, Masonites, Garendonites unite. That's what's going to take care of you and wet your beak and feed your family, and it certainly did. And so this year, it's like, is it any different? The guy's got bilateral double Achilles tendonitis, chronic. And yeah, he looks good right now, but remember how this is explained and how we talked about it. Bilateral chronic Achilles tendonitis is a management situation. It's not a you got over it like Osgood Slaughter when you're a kid and you're growing too quick. And it's like, it's painful, it's gone. Yeah. People DM me all the time. Smitty, I used to have a tendonitis and it went away. You didn't have chronic bilateral Achilles tendonitis caused by going 10,000 trillion miles with 300-pound linemen driving you into the ground that caused such Achilles tendonitis. It's a very different thing than being a casual flag football player in college and you had a little Achilles tendonitis that you got over. Even me, I was walking 10,000 to 15,000 steps per day. You guys remember that months ago? And I couldn't run because I had tendonitis in my shins and my feet and my ankles. I got over it. I'm not doing what Christian McCaffrey is. Yes, I got over it. I rested. It went away. I can now run again. I couldn't run for 6-7 months because I didn't stop and rest it. Christian McCaffrey's not in that situation. He doesn't have the luxury of time to reverse what's been caused. Achilles tendons are not random tears like ACLs where you cut wrong or you get hit with the helmet. Boom, sad, unfortunate. The ACL tore. This is a unraveling. It's like a army rope of all these thousands of strands raveled around, and your Achilles starts to fail. Each little strand rips and breaks one at a time until there's total failure. This is not something that gets repaired. Yes, medicine is advanced. Yes, he went overseas to get some therapy done where they injected it and everyone says, oh, it fixed it. It didn't fix it. It's better. It repaired probably to a degree, but this is a man that has been the highest percentage of his offense than any player probably in the history of the game. And Shanahan has said on record last year when they said to him, hey, Shanny, at the podium answering questions to reporters, why didn't you give Christian McCaffrey more time off and use Mason? Mason looks good right now. McCaffrey was out. Mason was trucking. And he said, why don't you use two running backs? And Shanahan said, we do not use two running backs in this system. This is not that type of system. We use one running back. That's just the way it is. He clarified it. Now, could he come out and use Garendo and Mason and CMC in a different way than he's ever done? Maybe. But if we know Shanahan well, he's probably going to abuse and use Christian McCaffrey into injury again. I'm staying totally clear of CMC.
Yeah. Look at all the running backs that have gone through there that were great quality running backs, and they're just injured all the time.
Real quickly, let me check Rock.
And in fact, Mason.
Go ahead.
Mason will probably have a great year now that he's away from San Francisco in that system. He'll probably have a great, healthy year.
I rock out on two-time speed. He sounded like he was Eminem for a second. Hold on. Sorry, rock out. I might listen to your stuff on two-time speed. Hold on. Here's rock out.
Yeah, the Bucky, yeah, the Bucky like there's going touchdown. In the end, we be going so official. Like a referee was whistle, hit the whistle to the missile. We be getting Buckies.
Your fiance is probably like, what are you listening to? Look, let me put that on two-time speed. He sounds like Eminem.
Yeah, the Bucky, yeah, the Bucky like there's going touchdown. In the end, we be going so official. Like a referee was whistle, hit the whistle to the missile. We be getting Bucky.
It sounds pretty cleaned up there in two-time speed, rock out. I like that. Real quickly, let me go over to Travis and then over to Bruce and then back over to Ron. Travis, you're live.
Hey, yeah, I think Ron does have a little bit of a point in terms of some drafts it could be hard to get both Bucky and Chase Brown just because not so much of their ADP, but at least what I'm looking at, there's not a whole lot of running backs ranked in between them. There might be 3 or 4 maybe. I can't remember exactly what's on Underdog, but depending on who you're drafting.
Well, but I'm not saying you grab both of them like clockwork. I'm just saying that there's never really a world that I've seen yet to date where of course, if I'm trying to grab both of them, it can't always happen, but I'm having to decide between the two because I'm taking Bucky if he's there. And then I'm taking my chance that Chase Brown will fall because he goes in round 4 sometimes. He goes in round 3 a majority of the time. So it doesn't make sense to ever be put in position unless you're in a weird draft scenario where Bucky's undervalued in the community that you're drafting in, which is not something I've ever seen. So, Bucky's going in the second round like clockwork and he's super hyped up even. And he's still I think he could crush his ADP. But I'm not saying it's easy to draft them both. I'm just saying the idea that one second round player is affecting a cemented in third round player that sometimes falls to 4. Like I get Chase Brown at the 3-4 turn a lot, and I know that in an Underdog it's wide receiver heavy, but there's still a world where that happens, I think, outside of Underdog. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's easy to cuff them, but I don't think anybody should be drafting Chase Brown over Bucky. So, but I think Ron's more so trying to compare his, which one he loves more, I guess. But I'm just merely pointing that out. But Ron's not wrong. You're not wrong. No one's wrong for saying that at the end of the day, if I had to choose between, let's say, going wide receiver, Chase Brown, that's more of an argument maybe Ron's trying to convey. Like, let's say you can grab a receiver, then go Chase Brown versus going Bucky and going wide receiver. I could see that being a strong argument. Like, hey, I see London a lot right here and then Chase Brown, and I could get London and Chase Brown versus Bucky and then not liking this wide receiver here. That's a great argument.
Yeah, I mean, I love them both. I love Chase Brown. So in terms of just the rank, would you basically have Bijan, Gibbs, Genty, and then who would it be for you? HN?
I think I rank H. Yeah, so we're gonna go in no particular order on this.
Yeah, no, just kind of.
By the way, guys, go watch this video. The next Bucky Irving video that's up and up for the viewing, your viewing pleasure, and we'll do the next Puka Nakua / BT video as well. So if I'm ranking the RBs in no particular order, I'm gonna say Bijan, Gibbs. So that's tied. And then number 3. So this would be 1/2. So number 3 would be. I mean, yeah, let's just put Barkley here, but it's not that I would draft him here a lot. It's just that he does deserve, the consideration of being put there. I'm an idiot. I won't, dismiss Barkley. He showed no signs of flying, last year, but it's just the. So I'm worried about him enough to where I'm liking other options, but he's certainly in the top 3 in rank. So number 4 for me, and let me put it this way: I like Genty more, so I'm gonna put Genty here, then Barkley.
Yep.
And people are gonna get mad at that, but this is packaging and a lot of the concern. So put Barkley there. We'll go Genty 3. I mean, obviously you're gonna have conversations about Henry. You're gonna have conversations about CMC. Some people will. But yeah, for me, I think this is how it probably ends up, is Bucky here. Yeah. I think Bucky, that's why I call him a top 5 running back. Because every time I do this, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 RBs here. We have a tie at 1, but this is 5 RBs, so this would be the 5th. I think you're certainly going to have conversations about Henry, per start. Henry and Barkley per start. You're going to have conversation about, I'm sure some will throw JT out. Achan. So maybe Achan and Bucky are tied here.
I was going to say, I'd go back and forth with Achan and Bucky so much.
Henry, CMC, JT. This is like the concerned group right here. They deserve to be talked about. They deserve to be ranked. They deserve to be, in this conversation of number 5. They do deserve to be talked about as number 5. But really, it's Bucky and Achan at 5. And I've drafted a lot of Achan instead of Bucky in underdog drafts, but that's not because I necessarily, when push comes to shove, I do value Bucky slightly ahead of Achan because of the offense. And when all things are equal, do they plan a good offense? What's the touchdown production capability look like? And Achan lives in a environment where he could be crippled at any moment and kind of put in a box, and that's what I hate. But Bucky's just going to be but I love both of them, and the reason I've drafted Achan over Bucky is because the ADP is higher, and ADP isn't guiding me. I'm not a brainless robot, but it's more about, you don't get as many opportunities to draft Achan because he's got a higher ADP. Whereas Bucky has such a good ADP that I take him at 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2. There's such a big range of where I'm able to grab him that I can get a ton of Bucky shares. But when I see Achan shares fall, I kind of try and take advantage as much as I can because I own a lot less of them, if that makes sense. So that's the same way of like grabbing, Jamar Chase at 1 overall. If you get the 1 pick, you take Chase. I don't even really mix it up at all because you're never going to get him at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At least you normally won't. Once in a great, while will that happen. So you kind of have to say, if I get 1, I have to take Chase. I have to, or I won't have shares of him. So that's kind of how I feel about Achan. But this is it for me. I get this conversation with JT, Henry, CMC. I understand people. But Bucky and Achan are 5. Barkley's 4. Genty's 3. Gibbs and Bijan tied at 1. This is my running back rank.
Yeah, and I know people would disagree with me, but I'd have Chase Brown right behind Bucky and Achan.
You can, yeah. You could even put Kyron there. Kyron's in this conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say Chase Brown, Kyron, and Breed
Hall
are all mixed in there too.
If you want me to throw out a crazy one, Harvey. I think Harvey could be a 6, 7, 8, 9. So Harvey. I think Hampton per start will be. I think he could be right away, but I have a feeling if anybody's going to slow roll someone out, it is Harbaugh. I just have a weird feeling. But even if he doesn't, Hampton's still going to get a lot of points, and he can have so much time to make up for it. I'm not worried about it. I think Harvey, Brees Hall. If I was to throw out, let me throw out a wild one. So Harvey's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. I think Sharps is a guy that if Walker's already banged up, if something happens before the season, Charbonnet can be a top 5 running back.
Do it. Good. I like that one.
Yeah, because last year you did a show on this where you talked about that, about how his numbers were like top numbers when he was playing, and he was playing the second role.
They're right here on screen. The numbers for the Seattle running back duo. So Walker was fantastic, though. Walker's in the non-green section of this, and the green highlighted parts are Charbonnet. So that's an overlay. So if you take just Charbonnet's, let me move this away. If you take just Charbonnet's stats up above right here, these 5 games, if extrapolated out, equal running back 2, which is crazy. And then,
it shows you how good both of them are with how bad that
line's improved. And then if you overlay it, they were a top 5 running back. But Walker was inefficient in some ways, but forced missed tackles per attempt and yards after contact per attempt. I got to put per attempt up here. He was number 1 in missed tackles forced per attempt. He was number 5 in yards after contact per attempt. So Walker was really, really good. Charbonnet was just unreal. I mean, look at Charbonnet's stats here. He's running back 8, running back 7, running back 1, running back 17, and running back 19. But what really did it was this 134 and 2. I mean, he went crazy in this week. And then what was the other week? Yeah, this 91 and 2. And I don't even have his receiving stats up here, but Sharps is so capable. Sharps' 5 games extrapolated is 360 points on a 17-game season. And that would be running back 2 or 3, I believe. So Charbonnet to the moon. I love it.
That's why we were all upset when he went up to Seattle, drafted him, because we knew he had number 1 talent.
Let me answer these 2 super chats. Let me go over to Bruce. Phone number to call in. I got Bucky for Laporta. Matt, I'll drop it in just a minute. I don't really put it up when I got a full phone line because that's why but hold on. I'll open it up for you in a second. In my opinion, Bucky, top of the list. Bucks O-line is really good. Colts O-line is not. That's why it's like, JT, you can love JT all you want, but he's got an awful situation. I don't want anything to do with any Colt players, but maybe Tyler Warren. And even that's going to have some limitations and some changing and carousel at quarterback type of stuff that's going to make him inconsistent. Colts O-line is not good. CMC going to break down. HN will get volume, but their offense has a lot of red flags. Henry doesn't catch the ball, and Henry's got that, thank you for the $10 hauler, BBQ. Henry's got that, at what point does he drop off thing hanging over his head? And I know he continues to do it, but I remember the day that Marshall Faulk dropped off, and it felt like it was never going to happen. And I remember it well because, and I've told the story before, I was going over, this is way before I did, fantasy content, but I went over to a buddy's house. We're doing a draft. And I remember, I think it was that same day we were drafting during the preseason game, and Falk was supposed to fall off. He was no longer going to be, can't stay healthy. He was no longer going to be a top 5 pick. It was the first year Falk would not be a top 5 pick. And he scored, I think it was 2 or 3 touchdowns in the first half of the preseason game. And it tricked everybody. And it was like real quickly he rose back up again, and then he just couldn't stay healthy that year. But every running back, as good as they are, will drop off. And I'm not saying Henry can't do it for 1 more year. I'm not saying it's impossible. And in best ball, I don't mind taking them, especially in weeklies. I'll take CMC and Henry together in a weeklies underdog promo code Smitty draft. Maybe we do a weeklies tonight. So there are scenarios where I do take Henry, and I take him with a smile, and I'm fine with it. But it really is hard for me to invest in him and not jump off the train a year early versus a year late. I just don't want it to derail. And remember that as good as Henry was last year, Christian McCaffrey was better in 2023 walking into last when we screamed do not draft him.
You've been trying to jump on that Henry train for several years.
I jumped off and the train went for a while.
But
I haven't been the last year. I was on board last year at the right value. I didn't jump off last year, but I can't sit here and say I hate his value, but I also don't want him over Bucky. And Bucky, you can draft about 9 times out of 10 over Henry. Bucky's sitting there when Henry's there, so there's no world where I'm not drafting Bucky over Henry because I'm getting Bucky every time I'm in that situation. So it's kind of like I own 0 Henry shares, not really because I hate him. You know, there are scenarios where I do like drafting him, but it's very rare. It's very rare to see it happen when Bucky's got such a good ADP or Achane. Achane's been falling to 18, 19. Again, the ADP data right here. I'll put it up on screen one more time. This ADP data on RBs. Achane going at 17 overall. There was a time in the January, February time where Achane was going 10, 11, and I think 9 at one point. I don't know why Achane has dropped to 17 overall. Doesn't make sense. But it's a steal.
I think Henry would have fallen off by now if he didn't go to the Ravens. It's just such a perfect spot and system for him. And if you remember, that last year in Tennessee, he was drafted to the finish line. You could tell he was worn out.
And we've seen it too. Even in Baltimore, there were times where it's like, and that week
one, his first game with Baltimore,
and then all of a sudden, but here's what they're doing over there in Baltimore. They're doing exactly what we said you got to do with him. Get him in open space, let him get that momentum, and then you can't really tackle him. But he's going to start to slow down in terms of hitting the hole. And if anybody remembers, I remember I did a video, I'll even show it, I have proof of it. It's one of my first Instagram posts ever when I started doing content. That's that long ago. And I remember my video goes, don't cut Derrick Henry. Don't cut Derrick Henry because he couldn't take the job from DeMarco Murray and Deion Lewis. He couldn't take the job from Deion Lewis. And I had a video. It said it was bold. It was crazy. People called me crazy. I went on Reddit and did a Q&A session, and they're like, "Henry's garbage. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about." And so I was a big promoter of Henry before his rise. Like, you know, we and everyone's gonna say, "Hey, you didn't call his." Well, actually, I did. But this video, I say, don't cut Henry. He is the biggest rags to riches potential running back to grab in fantasy during that 2018? I think it's the 2017, 2018 season. And I pegged him as the biggest rags to riches potential running back climb in fantasy. And he absolutely was. So you can go look at that on my Instagram. But anyway, I as much as I love him, the time is here where we're seeing him slow down, and then they get him the ball in good ways, and then he does well, and then we keep thinking we're seeing it, and then it goes away. Like, he's been very, very good about bouncing back. But yeah, at some point he's not gonna be able to bounce back. It's just the body takes so much abuse. Now, it could be one more year. I've said that 1,000 times, and that's why I'm drafting him. I wouldn't draft him at all if I didn't think there was a chance that he could have one more year. But I'm only doing it in best ball drafts where $3 is on the line, $5 is on the line, $10 is on the line, even $25 on a underdog Best Ball Mania. But I find myself not ever drafting him in Best Ball Mania because of Bucky and because of Achane. That's my point. BBQ, appreciate you with this right here. And then let me go to Bruce. You're live. What's up?
Hey, Smitty. I got a question. What if you have like the last pick in the first round and you go Bucky and then Achane? Is that a bad move or no?
I don't think you're getting that in round 2 and 3.
No, 1 and 2. If you did 1 and 2, like 1.12, which is technically like I consider it like a second round pick. and then you take like
You
a
know,
Bucky, and then
I almost
right
wanted to
after
hang
you
up
take
on you,
an
but I
A-Chan.
actually have thought about this myself. So I don't think it's the craziest idea in a best ball draft. And honestly, in a home league, I don't think it's that crazy either. It's a rare opportunity to own Bucky and A-Chan on the same team. And it's not that crazy. I mean, you're not going to... Look, A-Chan was a 9, 10, 11, 12 overall player at one point. And just because he fell out doesn't mean I still don't see myself winning a league with him being that value. So, I don't mind this. But do it in an experimental fashion. Don't do this in every draft fashion or multiple drafts. But I don't hate it, Bruce, to be honest with you. I can't even get myself to shoot it down.
Okay. And then about last night I couldn't stay up. I fell asleep. I had to go to work. But on Kelsey last night, when you were saying, trade him for a second round pick.
Yes.
Trade for him for a second. Trade for him. Now, if he does and has like a baller season, makes it 1-3, what do you think the chances are you could sell him high again, or you wouldn't do it?
I don't think anybody's buying Travis Kelce. And I'll also say that I think that he'll be up and down as his coach told you today. They're going to watch his pitch count a little bit. And so there could be some inconsistent moments, and then I just don't think it's going to be like glory, rose petals and glory the whole entire season. But I think at the end of the day, the sum total of what he brings to the table will be worth it by far and away. But I don't think you're going to have a chance to sell him again. No. Because even in a best ball, or I'm sorry, a dynasty world where Barkley came off hot last year and probably will be insane again to begin the season. Whether he holds up or not, it's a different thing. But you can't sell Barkley for anything in Dynasty. What makes you think, even if he's playing well, that someone's going to pay for Kelce? They're not. What you need to do is, if you trade for him and you're in win now mode, who cares about the second rounder? He can help you win money. Cash money, or win a championship for bragging rights. Whatever the case may be, Kelce's fantastic to go trade for in a Dynasty win now mode because he costs so little.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious on your opinions on that.
And as we said earlier, I mean, he's
right.
He's talking zero about stepping away, as we broke yesterday and today. So it's you're getting probably 2 years out of him. It sounds like you're not gonna. He's talking about his second contract, which was a far cry from what was being spoke about him before. So. It's good. It's good. All right, Bruce, I'm going to let you go and cycle around the phone line because I got to get out of here anyway. Appreciate you, bro.
Yep.
All right, let me add this call here. Hold on one second. All right, let me go over to. I'm going to come back over to the 443 caller next, but let me hit the 916 real quick. 916, what's your name and where are you calling from?
What's going on, Smitty? This
What
is
up, Matt?
From California.
What up?
Thanks for taking the time. I got a two-part question. It's the Bucky and Laporta question. It's a 1.5 PPR tight end premium. 1.5 tight end premium. I have Brock Bowers, and I'd be trading Sam Laporta for Bucky Irving and James Conner.
Trading Bowers for Bucky would be different than trading Laporta for Bucky. Because you got to think and this is a loose rule of thumb, as loose rule of thumb as you can come up with. Okay, hold on, let me merge this. It's the last caller I'm going to add, and then we're closing the phone line down. So, hang tight, caller that I just added, and I'll come over for you in a second. This is a very loose rule of thumb, but pretty much a tight end like Laporta getting drafted in, let's call it round 3-4. He goes up to like 2-3, like 1 round climb kind of. Ron, you can call back in if you wanted to say anything else, Ron. Appreciate you calling in, bro. So Laporta maybe climbs into that 2-3 territory. I don't think he climbs high into round 2 or anything. He's the 3rd or 4th ranked tight end. So he's going to 4 or 5 in a non-super flex, and in a super flex, he climbs. What I was trying to say is he climbs about a round. Bucky goes from round 2 to maybe the top of round 3. So they kind of like almost overlap and meet together. But I still have Bucky higher than Laporta, even in a tight end premium, because I still like Evan Ingram. I still like a lot of tight ends that could be very, very good. And Laporta has lost Ben Johnson. I think Goff kind of, leans on him, but I think he could turn into a little bit more of a pumpkin than a stud this year. So I easily take Bucky over Laporta if you've got Brock Bowers. I think that's fine, especially if you're getting more.
For sure.
But I try and get a different player than Connor. Like, is there another player he has? Does he have like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt? Does he have a draft pick in this year's drafting? You haven't, drafted yet or something? Or, is there something that you could get that might be a little bit more attractive?
No, the only other package that's for Laporta out there it's the Bucky and James Conner for Laporta, or I can trade Laporta for the 105 and the 110 in a 1 QB. So it's kind of like Judkins and Harvey, or Travion and Harvey, or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if you got a Buka though. Just
yeah.
I'd probably take Bucky, bro. Take Bucky.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Sure.
Appreciate
awesome.
you.
Thanks, Smitty. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Ron, call back if you got another one. Ron said, "I'm good, Smitty. I had to call you to answer." Ron with $20 holler. Appreciate you, Ron. Ron Navy.
Alert. Super chat alert.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Okay, let me hit BBQ Super Chat, then I'll hit the phone line. Can you explain how early weeks are prime opportunities to trade for talent that league mates drafted and may be willing to deal? I mean, yeah, we're going to go over, good question, BBQ. We're going to have a regular weekly buy low series. I think you guys are going to be really, really blown away with the content this year. I know I've said that before, and my off-season content crushes the in-season content, and that's not because the in-season content is lesser or I go live less. I probably go live more. But this year is going to be different. This year, I'm going to try to figure out a way, and I've got a plan of attack. And like you saw the video today, the next Bucky, there's going to be such a good amount of content this year that's uploads that won't be all live streams, that we're going to blow away everybody else and equal the off-season content. It'll never be able to be better than off-season content, but we can damn sure make sure it's an even tie. So get ready for it. And why did I even say that? What was I talking about? I forget what I was going to say.
BBQ Super Chat.
Oh, yeah.
Super Chat
okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is you're going to have probably multiple videos on buys and multiple videos on sells. So like the risers, fallers, and there's going to be a lot of that. But the reason so many people freak out, I mean, look at the Harvey train. Our Harvey train was full to the rafters. We had people hanging on the outside of the Harvey train. No one could get in, and everybody they were swearing. They were getting Harvey tattoos, swearing, "I will not jump off this train." And then J.K. Dobbins, the most injury-prone running back in the National Football League, signs with the team after the draft. They could have brought him in. Harvey's been so impressive. It's not because they aren't impressed with Harvey and they're like, okay, let's go get JK. They waited. They didn't need him. They went and got him after the NFL draft, and people are freaking out about it, and they've jumped off the train. I'm looking around the Harvey train, and it's half full. So many people, and you know who you are. You should be your mom's ashamed. If you jumped off the Harvey train because you're a petrified Peter, your mama's ashamed. But the point is, one sign of struggle, one bad week one, and there will be buy lows galore. If Harvey doesn't have a good week one, or Hunter, one of the Triple H and Associates, or the Quad, doesn't have a good week one, we will be consuming. And there will be so much content around that because scared Scotties and worried Williams run the first sign of any sort of trouble. Jahmyr Gibbs didn't do anything until week 7. Bucky Irving didn't do anything until double-digit weeks on the regular. So, yes, we will have tons of opportunities. I can't wait. It's the best time of year, and it's where championships are made outside of the draft, is in buy low, sell high territories. All right, 204, you're live. And then over to 4-4. Actually,
Hey, what's up?
4-4. Wait 1 second. Let me go to 4-4-3. He's been waiting. 4-4-3. You're live. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Nick from Baltimore. I got a startup question here. I'm doing a tight end premium 2.0 startup Superflex league. I've got basically everybody except Harvey, and he's got to be my next pick. But you want to hear what I've got so far? He's my 6'10".
Sure.
So I've got McBride, Bijan, I've got McCarthy, Hunter. Then I went around and got Henderson, and now I've got Hawkinson, and this is my, I guess it's my 7th player, and this is going to be Harvey or Jameson or Olave or Pickens. Like that's what I'm
Bro,
thinking.
go Olave. Just kidding.
Olave over Harvey.
I'm kidding. Don't go Olave.
Okay.
He presses the button like, I'd be like, no, I'm so sorry, bro. How much is the entry fee? I'll pay it. I'm sorry. Yeah, don't go Olave. I was testing your resolve, and you had a good response. I'm glad you said Olave instead of like, oh, okay. Who's your quarterback, bro?
McCarthy.
It's 2 QB or 1?
Yeah. 2 QB. The only QBs left are Bryce Young, and the next guy is Justin Fields. But I mean, I could pick Justin Fields and just go in on that. But
bro, you left Justin. Man, this is a one. Like, why? I know Hawkinson in a tight end premium is valuable, but in a 2 QB, Fields was more valuable in my opinion. Man, and now you're in a position where you can't take Harvey if you go Fields. I would have taken Fields over Hawkinson. Oh, man, now you're in a.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe in the future of Fields. I just really like him as a seasonal guy, but like for dynasty, I'm a little concerned about that.
This is for your own good, and because I'm short on time.
Finish him.
I'm short on time, and it's for your own good. Okay, 204 caller. Nice team, by the way, bro. I do have to go, but doubting Fields in a super flex this late. Fields looks great, bro. He looks fantastic. I would take Fields over Hawkinson 10,000 times out of 10 when you've already got McBride. I'm not saying it's not good to have multiple, but this is a super flex. Yeah, you're now, and Harvey. Damn it, I want Harvey too, but I don't know if Fields is going to last. That's a tough dilemma. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. 204. You're live. You're calling from Canada, right?
You know it, buddy. This is the other Nick from Canada.
Hey, well, what
we got the Baltimore Nick, and then we've got the Baltimore Nick, and now we've got the Canadian Steelers fan Nick. So
what's
you've
up?
got them all.
What's up?
So I have also a dynasty question. We did our startup last year, and I took Henry in like the 8th round or something crazy like that. Now I'm going forward, and obviously he's 30, I don't know, 32, 34, something like that. I have some really good pieces on my bench, like Rashard Smith, and I've got Jordan James, and I've got a few other. I got Blake Corum, and I've got a bunch of backup.
All right, spit it out, bro. Spit it out. I'm not even following anymore. Spit it out.
Okay. Which Baltimore backup should I be getting? I know you love Keaton Mitchell, but if, like, let's say Henry gets injured, are they going to just go to a committee, or what should I do there?
I mean, I like Mitchell.
And the same owner owns Keaton and Hill.
I like Mitchell a lot, but I mean, I'm not like racing out to get it because we don't know what they're going to do in Baltimore if he goes down. And he hasn't necessarily grabbed the job yet, but we had him on the next Bucky Irving list. He just didn't make it far in the process, but definitely he was in the bucket of players. So what's the question though? You went all over the place.
So should I? Yeah, the question was, should I get Keaton or Hill, or should I honestly just make a big swing and get both? Like, I just don't know. I'm kind of concerned because I'm a little bit thin at running back.
If Hill, I don't think Hill's going to be any sort of important piece for you.
No, Hill had 47 carries last year. Yeah. I mean, he's not going to.
Keaton Mitchell is nice. I would get Keaton Mitchell, but I'm not bending over backwards to get Hill. He's been in the league a while, bro.
Yeah, fair enough. And also, I want to say that, it's Hunter to the moon. He is going to be I'm guessing top 5 running back or receiver by the end of the year, and everyone who's afraid to take him.
Who? Travis Hunter?
They're going to lose money.
Travis Hunter?
Yeah, Travis Hunter.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
I have him in everything.
I don't
have him in
blame
everything. Every dynasty.
I don't blame you, don't you know?
Everywhere. Like fourth, fifth round. Love to see it.
Yeah, who doesn't? Haters, that's who doesn't. All right, bro, appreciate you. Call back tonight. We'll be live.
You said, what do you call them? Scared Tonys or something?
Scared
Terrified
Scotties,
Tonys?
Worried Williams, Angry Angus's. All right, bro, appreciate you.
All right, thanks, Smitty.
All right, bro, I didn't say necessarily to take Fields. I said you should have taken Fields. I want Harvey here. If I'm you, I'm trying to trade Hawkinson for a pick on the clock right now. You know what? I'd remedy my mistake. And I'm not saying to take Fields. I'm saying if Hawkinson went way ahead, bro, can't you trade? Call back real quick. Real quickly. Travis, final thoughts, anything else, and then I'm going to end the show on his call.
No, just the when we were talking about Henry, I went back and looked at it.
Thanks again, Rob.
2018. It was week 14. He had 238 yards and 4 touchdowns. And from there on, it was like he was nasty the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry from there on.
Yeah.
After 2018. But up until that point, you're right. He was like topping out at like 50 yards, 40 yards, 11 carries.
Yeah, he was scary.
Like he couldn't break through.
For a period of time. Henry was really worrying everybody. But real quickly, for this guy who, bro, this is what I'm doing. Hawkinson went a while ago, right? Or was it last round?
Yeah. Last round.
Okay.
Last round.
So you go to the owner that has the pick right now or the pick right after you. So you have back-to-back picks. And you see what he'll give you in addition to this pick. Because I think does everybody agree in the chat that he could remedy this situation by trading Hawkinson for the current pick aside from yours? So the current pick, and then you grab Fields, because honestly, Fields straight up for Hawkinson in a Superflex dynasty makes a complete sense, especially when your only quarterback is JJ McCarthy. So yes, trade Hawkinson straight up for the pick and say, look, I took him already. You're getting a tight end, and hopefully that guy, doesn't need a tight end. But you could even, what you could do? You could even take stabs at this as you go through the draft. Like the guy on the clock right after you says no, but then he takes somebody else. You're like, good. Then you go to the next guy. You're like, hey, you're on the clock right now. Do you want Hawkinson? No. Then he takes somebody else. Hey, you're on the clock. Do you want Hawkinson? Yes. Boom. You at least figured it out. But maybe you draft the player that's more likely to be taken if you're playing that longer game through the round. So who's more likely to get snagged right here, Fields or Harvey, based on the ADP?
Fields. He's basically it's been a while since a quarterback's been taken. It was actually before Hawkinson Dak was taken. So that's why I just didn't see Fields being a value there. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I mean, look, trust your gut. If you hate Fields, don't make me make your pick. But I'm telling you, Fields looks fantastic right now. He runs the ball. He's got a safe floor, and you got no other options. Am I wrong? Who's drafting Fields over Hawkinson in a tight end premium? Gump, I'm sorry, you're calling way too late. I've already closed the phone line. Leave a message and I'll play it. Who here is drafting Fields over Hawkinson in a super flex tight end premium? I am. Especially if he's got McBride. You what, Travis?
It Fields by a mile.
Yeah, especially because you got McBride. I'm not saying it's not good to have 2 tight ends in a tight end premium. That's not what's coming out of my mouth. But you have no other quarterback but JJ McCarthy. So, bro, maybe you just do it straight up. I don't even know you ask for anything or you're going to dilly-dally too long. I would just say, hey, the guy that's on the clock after you, does he have a tight end?
The guy on the clock after he does not.
Bro, reach out to him. Play coy, though, bro. Say, hey, is there anything you want on my team? This is how you do it. This is how you don't do it. Well, you kicked Hawkinson for your pick? What? No. Why? No, I don't want him. It's not my idea. You need this to be his idea. The psychology of trading, bro. You get a hold of him, you say, hey, what do you want for this pick? Anything on my team? And then he'll ask for something that you're not going to give up or whatever and go, well, probably shouldn't do this. I just took Hawkinson. I should probably be getting more from you, but I do have McBride. You don't have a tight end. I mean, I guess I'd entertain it. Like, you got to approach it in a very coy fashion. Okay? And then he'll probably be apt to do it. Say, otherwise, I'm probably going to trade him to somebody else, I think. I don't know. We'll see. But you just don't make it look like you've made a mistake. And you got to, or he's not going to do it. But, bro, Fields is really good for your team. You got Fields and J.J. McCarthy with the squad you ripped off. With Harvey added to it, it's a great team. All right, I got to go, bro. Appreciate you.
Without. All right. Thank you.
Later. All right, Travis, anything else? See you tonight.
No. Talk to you later, Smitty. Thanks.
Gump, I'm sorry I ignored your call, but you're calling at the end of the show. Leave a message, Gump, and I'll play it for everybody. Or call back tonight, Gump. I'll see you all later. I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. Live whenever big news breaks. I'm live most midnights Eastern. That'll be tonight. So live when big news breaks. Live when it's midnight most nights, and live 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. So you typically get like 2 to 3 live streams a day. And going forward, we're going to try and do like 1 video a day upload if I can on top of all that. That's where we're going to take care of the dynasty stuff. That's how we're going to take care of a lot of the start bench, the waiver wire, the buy lows, the sell highs. A lot of these are going to be video uploads in addition to all the live streams that we already do on this channel. So if you thought we were rocking out this offseason, or you like the in-season content, you haven't seen nothing yet. We're taking over 2025. Appreciate you all. Thank you for all my super chats. See you all tonight at midnight Eastern. And make sure you get on over to Underdog. That link is pinned in the live chat. The link, code Smitty also gets it done, but the link inserts code Smitty for you. So hit that link right now. I just dropped it again. It's in the live chat. It's in the description if you're watching the replay. Sign up on Underdog. They'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. So if you drop $500, they give you $250. If you drop the $10 minimum, they'll give you $5. And don't forget the Patreon. That is where the live chat extends over and is 365 24/7 over on the Patreon. Everybody, you see an amazing help over here. We on the live chat. You got Aaron, you got Travis, and all the people that are so helpful in the live chat. They spill over to the Patreon. In fact, I'm going to pull up the Patreon right now. I just dropped that link. I'm going to pull up the Patreon right now. And this is what I do after every show. Hey, any post 8 p.m. show topics, it's a live chat. That's right there. I'm sitting there talking with everybody. And the most important and best part about it all is that during games, whether it's Monday, Thursday, Friday game, if there's one, or Saturday or whatever, Christmas, doesn't matter. We are all jammed inside this game day lounge chat right here. And we're talking the entire day. The entire day. Bijan scored. Did he? Oh my God, I didn't see it. I'm going to watch it. We're all in there. It's the best place. $10 per month. Try it and cancel. It's $10. It's like a cup of coffee. Try it for 1 month and cancel it, for goodness sakes. That link, I'll drop it one more time. It's in the live chat. See you all tonight, midnight Eastern.
In a jam, call HHH and Associates.
Triple H and Associates. Locations on Earth and Jupiter.